Okay, so I'll record this. I don't think this will be a full 2.5 hour day, but let's see. So let's start with the project because that's technically due today. The paper. You could, if you needed a few more days, not a big issue, but uh, you're not done yet. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem. And then make sure you do the PowerPoint too, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's just pull up that real quick again. So I've already got a few of the papers from some students. Um, two or three. I can't remember how many. Let's see. So okay. So here's the project. Again, no changes here, but I just want to kind of emphasize the only things you're going to be graded on are the final research paper and then the final PowerPoint. So the other parts, um, the Excel doc and like the R Studio stuff, that was just to keep you on track. You don't have to turn. I mean, you've already turned it in essentially. I think everybody has, but I'm not going to grade that part. What I am going to grade is the final paper. So basically, all these things, all the graphs and the screen caps, you're going to incorporate those into the final paper and the final presentation. I'll grade that. So at this point, just make sure you get the final research paper and the final presentation by next Saturday. Okay, so that's kind of the deadline there. Um, okay, so yeah, okay. So and then I know it's only a week left, but if anybody needs some help with the project or some of the analysis, you do have a week left. So if you need immediate help, then send me an email and I can schedule a quick office hours or something like that. But uh, please don't do it like Friday night at midnight or something. But try. I can try to squeeze in an hour here or there to try to help you one on one if you need that. And so just emphasizing that there's a week left. A week's a lot of time, but you got other stuff to do and things catch up. So if you need help, don't wait too long to send me an email and I can schedule a quick one-on-one session. Okay? So, um, and then we'll see. So for next week, I know it's, how many of you are coming here? One, Brian?
I'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay. Okay, great. So all right. So we'll plan to have class. I know that there will also be commencement going on, so just be aware that traffic might be an issue. Um, and I don't know what time commencement is. It's in the afternoon? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, just be aware of that. If you have some issues with parking, just let your classmates know and shouldn't be a big deal. I think next week we'll just do presentations. Maybe I'll think of something else to do, but that'll be the plan. So if you should have your presentation done, your paper done, and I would encourage you, even if you're remote, if you can, to try to do a quick presentation because, like I said, it won't be graded. I think it's good practice to kind of when you do a presentation, and then if your students want to ask a few questions, it's uh, it's a good like confidence builder to be able to answer the questions on your research, and then give you good practice there. So, um, okay, so normal class next week. I don't think it'll be too long, but I would like to give everyone an opportunity to do their presentations. I think it'll be kind of fun and again, not graded, just, and if you, I know half the class is doing it remotely, so we can easily do just kind of share your screen, do a little presentation, and if you want, again, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to make you, but it would be good practice, and I think other students like seeing other students' presentations. Okay, so again, if you need help, send me an email to schedule a one-on-one, but any just uh, immediate questions on the project at this point? I think everyone's in a pretty good shape, but okay. All right. Okay, the other thing is the final. And so the final is, and I guess homework 5 is also due today. I think everyone's already done that, and there weren't many issues because we pretty much did it in class together last time. So I don't think there's any issues on that, but let me know. Actually, I think almost everyone's already turned that in, so I don't think that's a problem. The final, so let me just, I'm not gonna go through this, obviously, because it's the final, but it should be very similar to what you did on the last homework. And I set up the last homework to kind of be a practice final for your reference. So it shouldn't be too difficult. Well, I mean, it's difficult, but you've done all this stuff before, and if you do have any, errors with RStudio or something, you can let me know. So here's the final exam. There's a Word document and there is a PDF. It's the exact same thing. I like to post both because the PDF I can kind of go through quicker, and the Word doc, I know that some students like to use it to answer their questions in it, so you're welcome to do that. But both of these things are the same thing, so don't. Okay, so. Oops. All right. Okay, so this also due next Saturday, and um, I think that shouldn't be an issue because it's kind of like another homework. I would say that I don't want to give you extra time, but like if you have to prioritize something, make sure 100% the project and the PowerPoint are done by next Saturday. And I'd like to have this done too because it's the end. Yeah, but if you need an extra day or two on the final, that shouldn't be an issue because I probably won't get the grades um, in right away. But that's or maybe I mean, if everybody turns it in on Saturday, maybe I can get the grades on Sunday. It's kind of up to you. Or is that's Labor Day, right? It's more sorry, yeah, yeah, okay. So this is also next week. Try to prioritize, but you could. I would be a little lenient on a few extra days. I don't want to start, throwing around extensions, but just I want to make. I know there's a couple things due. I want to make sure the project's done first, and then I don't think this will take too long. But if you get it in by next Saturday, that'll help me expedite the grading. But I know that everyone's busy. Okay, so you're going to hopefully submit this by Saturday, May 25th. Then enjoy the rest of your uh, Memorial Day, which most people should have Monday off, right? Yeah. I have Monday off, which is nice. It's
In 17 years I was in the military, that I actually
yeah, yeah. We don't get a lot of holidays at Edison, but we get this one, so uh, this is the time of year when there's like not a lot. There's a lot of holidays like November, December, January. It seems like they're like packed there, and then once you get to like post like MLK Day, it's kind of like one or two more holidays the rest of the year until it goes like it seems like. So Memorial Day, 4th of July, and then that's like it until uh, I don't think we get Veterans Day. Labor Day. Labor Day. Okay. Then let's see. All right. So all you have to submit here is the answer sheet. So you can put it as a Word or a PDF. You don't need to submit your Excel file or your RStudio stuff. Just put it all in the one document. And this is 25 points, which is essentially 25% of your grade. So it's not, the most time-consuming final, but it will be graded as a final. So take it. All right. So I have just one question, and the question is based on the state's Excel doc. So this is it. Okay. All right. So you have here a bunch of states. There's probably 50, assuming there's one for each state. Yeah. These variables are defined on this here. Okay. So we have state, which is self-explanatory. Employment in agriculture in percent. Employment in manufacturing, which is percent per capita income. I think that's just in dollars. Yes. Okay. Unemployment rate in percent. The percent of union workers in the sample. Uh, bachelor's degree or advanced. Is that also? Is that's also percent. Okay. Average annual pay in dollars. Median income in dollars. Poverty rate percents. Um, export-related employment percent of total, and then employment and services and government percent. So all these variables are in either percent or dollars, right? No other metrics, okay? So what you're gonna do, if you haven't done so already, is you're gonna run a multiple regression with unemployment rate, this one, as the dependent variable, and then the following as x variables. So you're gonna have 5 different X variables: agricultural employment, manufacturing employment, if they're in a union, poverty rate, and what's this one? Export-related unemployment. Okay, those are the X variables. Yeah. So just make sure you organize your Excel sheets so they're kind of adjacent. You know what I mean? Like,
It says right there too.
yeah, yeah. So I'd recommend kind of putting your variables over here like we have been. Kind of make it easy so you can do the X selection all at once. And you'll select your Y range, your X range, and it should be easier. But I'd recommend kind of putting everything over to the right so you can kind of make a big selection. Okay. And all right. Okay. So those are the variables, and then what you're going to do is interpret the R square, and then interpret the coefficients for all these variables. So there's 5 different ones. Yeah, I know we've done this a bunch of times, but I still think this is one of the things that becomes most challenging because you have to interpret a number based on the result. So just pay attention to what these specific things are. And each one is the effect of this x variable going up by 1 unit on the y variable. So if employment in agricultural goes up 1%, then blank. So just pay attention to what the actual variable is, because it might be going up by 1%. It might mean going up by $1. It might mean something else. So, and then you're looking at the effect on unemployment, which is in percent or unemployment rate. So, kind of look through here. Yeah, that's like 3.5%, 5.9%, $21,646, and so on. So, it's actually um, pretty easy to see that they're either, if it's a small number or a decimal, most likely it's in percent, like it's defined. If it's a big number, it's most likely some dollar figure that's attributed to the category. Okay? So just pay attention to what exactly that is changing and what exactly the effect is on unemployment, which is always going to be a percent effect. Right? Well, it's a decrease. It means that if the x variable goes up, the y variable goes down. Right? So that would mean that something like yeah, it's possible that like, if the poverty rate goes up, um, well, most likely if the poverty rate goes up, my guess would be the unemployment rate goes up as well, but I don't, yeah. It's in percent. So, like if it'd be 0.5, yeah, yeah, don't multiply by 100 because, the numbers are already in percents, yeah, because otherwise that would be like point, 0.05%, which would be, yeah. Okay, so good, yeah, good question, because percents are kind of tricky sometimes, because sometimes they are in like 0.05 and sometimes they're actually in percents. Um, so yeah, that would mean like, interpret it as, like, if this goes up, let's look at, like, this is agricultural in percent. So yeah, if this goes up by 1%, then what happens to unemployment in percents? Yeah. Okay, so there's 5 of them there. I know we've done this a bunch of times, but this is one of the areas where, I know it's always difficult to interpret the results. So, pay attention to what you're interpreting. Okay. Um, then, oh, we've already done that. Okay, this part, you're going to write out the multiple regression equation with the coefficients. So it's just going to be like unemployment as a function of some intercept plus the, coefficient for agricultural times agriculture plus the coefficient for poverty times poverty. And so it just shows, you're plugging in the variables kind of like we did with the homework 5, showing what the betas are and showing what the estimated effect is of these variables on y, right? Okay, and then once you have your equation, um, okay, once you have your equations, the question is, what's your estimated unemployment rate when the following parameters are specified? And you can round it to decimals if you want, because it's going to be, uh, it should be a nice number. Is the hint there? So if you get something weird, it's probably not right. Uh, so what you're going to do is when you get the equation, just plug in these numbers, and you should get a nice little estimate of, if these numbers are these, this is what I'd expect the unemployment rate to be. Okay? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Part D is, you're going to reduce the model further by omitting variables if multicollinearity is an issue, and then include a screen cap of the regression results for the significant variables only, uh, no multicollinearity, and your final correlation matrix. So you're going to start with these 5 that you already did, and just see, by running the correlation coefficient or the correlation matrix, if there is high correlation. And if there's high correlation, you might want to take one of those variables out, because then you can't really, isolate the effect. Um, if there isn't an issue, then you can leave it as is, but, you gotta do the check. You gotta get the correlation matrix, see if these things have a correlation, and then if they do, you have to, remove the variables that are highly correlated. Okay? Um,
And those that come out as hard.
well, this part's in Excel, so no, you have to look at the thing, right? So you have to run the correlation matrix, like we did last time, like this one. Homework 5, what is? Like this. So you look at the correlations, and remember the rule of thumb was, look at the correlation matrix. And remember, this is only the x variables. The unemployment, it doesn't matter because you're trying to find the effect on that. Any correlations that are greater than 0.9 in absolute value, then multicollinearity is an issue, and one of these variables needs to be removed. And then remember the ones we normally removed if there was a case was if there's a 0.9, take away the one that has the lowest t-stat, right, the least significance of the two. And then any correlations in absolute value between 0.75 and 0.9, then you can take a look at the scatter plot and decide if you want to take one out. So this basically like over 0.9 for sure take one out. If it's in this range, just take a look and see if the correlation is high enough. And if you think it is, you can take it out. And then anything below 0.75, just ignore it, okay? And then when removing x variables due to multicollinearity, remove the ones with the lowest t-stat in absolute value. So it's kind of a three-step process. And again, if you find that some or some of the correlations are low enough, then no action's needed. But make sure you show the final matrix so I can see what led to your result. Okay. And then last part is in RStudio. So what I would recommend doing is what we did last time is start with the separate Excel document without being like, with all the regressions and whatever you did on it, and just upload it to RStudio and then run the regression with that. So you can use the same kind of formula we did last time, which let me just show you an example. Okay, so last time we had uploaded the hedonic one that had all the housing variables. And so the type of equation you're gonna modify is similar. And so I'll just pull one up like this as an example. And I checked because somebody had asked me to check theirs. And so if you notice, like, the spacings don't matter. I like to have spacing because then I can kind of see clearly. But you're gonna basically define the regression. And then this part you can say like reg 1, or I like to start with reg 1 because then if I have reg 2, I can get it go down. And then it's going to be linear model parentheses. This will be your dependent variable. So actually, this looks like the one that we're running. Okay, so yeah, basically. So your dependent variable, and then all the other defined variables that you want to put in, and then comma data equals whatever the data set is, okay? So if you get an error, you probably either wrote down the variable wrong or something. There's a good chance you'll get an error, but you should be able to fix it if you just kind of look through and see. And you could also do it like, oops, sorry. The same way with no spaces. Spaces don't matter. But again, this looks a little compressed to me, so it's hard for me to see it, but spaces don't make a difference, is the final point. So make sure you define it as reg something equals lm parentheses dependent variable tilde, or whatever that was. I'm gonna erase it. And then all the x variables, and then comma data equals whatever the data is that you uploaded. And this must equal the Excel name or else it won't know what it is. Okay, and then if you don't get an error, you probably did it right. Okay, and then all you have to do is type in like summary reg, or summary reg 1, or summary whatever you defined it, and then it'll give you the results. Okay. So the idea is to use kind of the one we did last time, which was this one. Okay, and be able to modify it because you can see it's the same format, you're just defining different variables. So it's gonna say reg1 equals LM, and then it's not P anymore, it's unemployment, you can kind of see the difference. So it's the same exact concept, but our studio has to know which variables you're referring to pull them in the analysis. But it knows that this phrasing is to do the same analysis. Right? So if you get an error, double check. You know, I'm happy to try to troubleshoot with you, but it should be pretty similar to this one. And uh, yeah, okay. And then so you're gonna run all 10, or these ones here. So you're gonna run a model with unemployment is Y. So unemployment is like this one, and then little squiggly, and then you're gonna add this one plus this one plus. They don't have to be in order, but you have to get all these ones. So what you're gonna do is check and see which ones are significant, and then reduce it down and see how it compares to the first one. Okay. Yes. So you can right, right, yeah, right. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing is, remember we did this before. You kind of the the long way was to do it like one by one. You don't have to do that, but I would recommend that if you run them all and like some other not significant but they're close, then leave the one in. If there's like a 1.5, you know, the t-stat's like 1.5, 1.6, or close to 2, but not a not an asterisk or not a star, whatever you call it. Uh, Leave it in your next one just to see if it jumps in there. But if your t-stats are like less than 1, I wouldn't even worry about it. Just get them out. So you see what I mean? Like if there's something that's on the fringe, taking out other variables that are not significant might make it significant. But if the t-stat's already like super low, it probably isn't going to make a difference. All right. So you know, kind of like we did, your answer sheet could be similar to what we did. Where's my homework? This one to the homework. So in the final, you're going to have, this is homework 5, but just as an example, you would have the regression results from RStudio with the 5 variables. You're going to interpret the 5x variables in the final and the r squared. You're going to write out the equation kind of like this, but there'll be 3 additional x variables, and then you're just going to plug in those numbers I gave you to get the unemployment. You're going to do the correlation matrix check for multicollinearity and see if you need to take 1 or 2 out. And then RStudio part, you're going to run the analysis in RStudio after you upload it, and use probably like do everything up to part E. And then what I'd say on the final is just go back here and like, uh, it's,
Our studio is supposed to, once you close it, it doesn't say the formula.
it does save it in history, yeah. It does say, I'll show you. Yeah, so when you get to part E, what I recommend doing is just download the states file again, and then without messing with it, just upload that to RStudio, so it doesn't have anything to, you know, and then just with the unmodified one can be uploaded, and then like your data can just equal states. This part? Okay. Okay. And then the last part, part E, you'll just run the full model. I think there's 10 variables in the unemployment one. but just show the final one where you get only the variables that are significant. Uh, and I can't remember how many total variables there are, but there's more than two. All right, and then that's it. And then what you should see is what you started with from Excel is similar to what you got from RStudio, just two different ways to get there. Okay, and you can kind of oh. Didn't change it. Yeah. Hmm. You got the same. Yeah, you probably get. I think if the T stats are low enough, it doesn't make a difference, but sometimes it does. Yeah. Okay. So that's really it for the file. And again, if you need help on the final or the project, you don't have a question right now because you haven't done it yet, then you can send me an email or schedule a quick office hours, but just try not to do it like too late in the week because when it comes close to Saturday, then the less time I have to schedule. Yeah, that's a good. All right. So any immediate questions on the final? And I think if you did the homework 5, same format, just a few more variables and a few more steps. And I will say, like, just pay attention to question. That's not it. Gosh. The interpretation part is usually what just from past experience that students miss points on. So just because I mean, it's hard to interpret things, right? It's easy to hit numbers and get it, but it's harder to interpret what you found than to actually get something. Okay. Um, so we've got the project and in paper format and in PowerPoint format, and the final all due next Saturday. And just know that this is basically half your grade. So it shouldn't take you half. You know, I know we spend a lot more time doing other things, but I like to have it so like you get the most points on just practicing what you've built up to. So it's I don't expect you to spend half of your time for the whole class on these two assignments because it's 50%. But it, everyone's been coming to class and watching the videos and doing the work. So I mean, you should be. I think everyone's pretty prepared for the assignments. Okay. All right. Um, okay. Any other questions besides individual questions, I guess? Okay. Oh, thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Eh, we already submitted our our exam.
Yeah.
Now, if we have little bit problems here and there, then what happens? Change.
What do you mean you want? Oh, you want to resubmit?
Like, yeah, because no, for example, like I know that I have done everything correctly because I followed the your example,
Yeah.
But even though I followed, but now that you went through each steps, what if I did some mistakes with? I'm not sure, but what if I did some mistakes with the currencies? Now I'm confused.
Oh, okay. Uh, I mean, so yeah, so I went through it just to clarify. So if you want to, Noble, you can look through it again real quick, and if you want to send like make any updates, you can. I have it. You can send me a different one.
I know, but I'm pretty confident, but still, now I'm a little bit confused. Okay.
Okay, well, I think it looked like you understood it pretty well. Um,
Yeah, but
but
still, I get nervous until I find the grade.
I think you'll be fine. But yeah, just like I just wanted to go through it again just to for clarity, and
Good.
what
All
yeah
right,
what
all right.
but
I
just
think I did good. I did well. I think I did well.
okay.
Hopefully.
But just why don't you just so you feel good about it? Why don't you just look at what you sent me and just if you want to make any last minute changes,
Sure.
you're welcome to. So just so
Okay.
you feel better about it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Question is. Okay. Okay. So it looks like we have just kind of individual questions here. Um, so what I'm actually, what am I going to do? I think what we'll do first is, so that's all I really wanted to cover today. I know that some people have questions here, and Michael has a question which I can try to answer. So I'm going to address those, but I'm going to stop the recording because we're not going to cover anything new. Um, and then I'll just one second. But I'm going to stop it because I want to address individual questions, and I'm supposed to give the class um, a second to do course evaluations in class. So I'll do that. Uh, not when we're recording, obviously, but I'll do that, and then we can do that now. Yeah. So let me stop the recording. And then.